Welcome to a deep dive into something I think we're all dealing with these days.
Yeah.
Human intelligence in an AI world.
That's a bit of a mind bender, right?
It is. It really is. And, this AI thing, it's changing so much.
Yeah.
How we live, how we work, even how we learn.
Right.
But instead of freaking out about the robot overlords taking over,
Yes.
we're going to focus on the positive.
Yes.
What's the opportunity here? For us humans to level up our own intelligence in this new world.
Yeah. And this deep dive is going to be particularly fascinating.
Okay.
Because we're using this position paper
Right.
from the human intelligence movement
Right.
as a guide.
I like it.
And these folks, they're all about putting human intelligence at the center of this technological revolution.
Yeah.
And they have some very thought-provoking ideas
Right.
about how we can adapt.
So no doom and gloom here.
No.
It's more like, let's get strategic about what makes us uniquely human.
Absolutely.
So the position paper talks a lot about this idea of human-AI collaboration.
Yeah. Almost like a new super team where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Exactly. And to illustrate this, they actually use this example
Okay.
of students using AI tools, like writing assistants
Right.
or personalized tutoring systems.
No, those are everywhere now.
Yeah. And these tools, they really do have the potential to be complete game changers for learning.
Yes.
But the position paper makes this point that it's like giving someone this powerful sports car without teaching them how to drive it.
Yes. It's like dropping a kid into a Formula One race car with no instruction manual.
Right.
Exciting, but also kind of terrifying.
Absolutely.
So how do we approach this responsibly?
Well, the position paper argues
Yeah.
that to really collaborate with AI effectively, we need to be very clear
Okay.
about what human intelligence even is
Okay.
in this new world.
Yeah.
And they make the point that it's more than just being like a walking calculator
Okay.
or an encyclopedia. So it's not just about memorizing a bunch of facts
No.
or being able to code like some kind of whiz.
Exactly. The position paper defines human intelligence as a whole system.
Okay.
One that includes not just cognitive skills, but also social, emotional, and adaptive capabilities.
So it's like we have to upgrade our entire definition of smart to keep up with the times.
Right.
So what are some of these key elements that they highlight? What is human intelligence to these authors?
Well, they break it down into three main pillars,
Okay.
which are social, emotional competencies,
Okay.
adaptability competencies,
Got it.
and then cognitive competencies.
Okay, so three pillars: social, emotional, adaptability, and cognitive. Let's unpack those a little bit.
Sure.
Starting with social, emotional competencies. What does that even mean in an AI world?
Well, think about it this way. Imagine you're working on a project,
Okay.
and AI is doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Okay, so the data analysis.
Yeah, data analysis, generating reports. You still need to be able to work effectively with your human teammates.
Right.
You need to understand their perspectives and navigate those interpersonal dynamics.
Because even with all the fancy algorithms, AI is not going to replace good old-fashioned teamwork,
Right.
communication skills.
Exactly. And that's where social emotional learning comes in, or SEL.
SEL.
And the position paper highlights CASEL,
Okay.
which is the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning.
Okay.
And they define SEL as the development of self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making.
Big words.
Yeah, and, all of these skills, they're becoming even more critical
Okay.
as we navigate a world where technology is constantly changing the way that we interact.
So it's not just about being nice. It's like being smart
Yes.
about how we relate to others, especially as AI takes on this bigger role in our lives.
Exactly. And the position paper points out that emotional intelligence, which is the ability to understand and manage our own emotions and empathize with others,
Yes.
is a key part of this.
It's almost like AI is forcing us to get better at being human. It's not enough to just be a tech whiz. You've also got to be emotionally intelligent, socially adept, all those things that make us us.
Absolutely. And the position paper goes on to say that social emotional competencies go beyond just managing emotions. It includes things like recognizing our embodiment, creativity, and our search for meaning in life.
Okay.
And all of these things, they differentiate us from AI and make us uniquely human.
So social emotional intelligence, pillar number one. What about adaptability competencies? How do we become more adaptable in this world where AI is changing the game so rapidly?
Well, the position paper actually connects this directly to you
Okay.
by mentioning the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report.
Uh-huh.
And they found that adaptability is going to be a key skill
Makes sense.
for anyone who wants to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, because if technology is changing so rapidly, we can't just learn one set of skills and expect to coast through our careers.
Right.
We've got to constantly be learning, adapting to new situations, rolling with the punches.
Exactly. And the position paper talks about this idea of cognitive flexibility,
Oh,
which is this ability to see challenges as controllable and to adapt our thinking to find those creative solutions.
so instead of freaking out when something changes, you see it as an opportunity to learn something new
Exactly.
or try a different approach.
Yes, and they bring in this concept of connectivism,
Okay, Vincent. Okay.
which emphasizes forming connections between ideas
Okay.
and communities
Got it.
to create these adaptable knowledge networks.
So it's not just about what's in my head. It's about being able to tap into this whole network of knowledge and expertise.
Right. And the position paper argues that this ability to connect, collaborate, and learn from others is only going to become more crucial as AI evolves.
It takes a village.
Yeah, and they also bring up this idea of distributed cognition,
Okay.
which suggests that intelligence isn't limited to our own minds, but also emerges from our interactions with other people,
Okay.
tools, and even the environment around us.
So it's like we're all part of this larger intelligence system.
Yeah,
AI, humans, tools, all working together.
that's the idea, and that brings us to the third pillar of human intelligence.
Okay, hit me.
Cognitive competencies.
Okay, so let's break this down. What are we talking about when we say cognitive intelligence, especially in the context of an AI world?
It's about the ability to reason, plan, solve problems, think abstractly, and learn quickly. But it's not just about raw brain power.
Uh-huh.
It's about being able to apply those cognitive skills to real-world challenges.
So it's not just being like a walking dictionary or encyclopedia.
Right.
It's about being able to think critically, solve problems creatively, make smart decisions
Exactly.
in a really complex world.
And the position paper argues that all of these cognitive skills, things like critical thinking, problem solving, decision making, even just being aware of our own thought processes, are going to be even more essential
In an AI world.
in
yeah.
an AI world.
Because AI can crunch numbers and analyze data,
Right.
but it can't think for us
Yeah.
or make those tough judgment calls.
We still need to be in the driver's seat,
Right.
using our cognitive skills to guide and direct the AI, make sure that it's being used ethically,
Responsibly.
effectively.
It sounds like this position paper is really laying out a blueprint for not just surviving,
Yeah.
but thriving in this AI revolution.
Yeah.
So we need to level up our social and emotional intelligence, become more adaptable, and sharpen those cognitive skills.
Right.
But how do we actually do that?
Well, the position paper goes on to connect these three pillars of human intelligence
Okay.
to those specific skills that are in high demand
Okay.
in today's world.
Got it.
And they actually list adaptability, cognitive skills, collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking, digital literacy, empathy, problem solving, and a whole bunch more.
It's like they're saying we need to be Renaissance humans
Right.
for the AI age.
Mm-hmm.
Jacks of all trades who can think, feel, adapt like champs.
Yeah.
But how do we measure those skills? Traditional standardized tests seem pretty limited in capturing all of that.
You've hit on a key point.
Okay.
Because the position paper actually critiques traditional standardized testing.
Yep.
And they argue that it falls short
Okay.
in assessing the kind of human intelligence that's actually needed in an AI-driven world.
So it's like using a ruler to measure the volume of a swimming pool.
Yeah.
The tool is just not designed for the task.
Exactly.
Okay.
The position paper points out that standardized tests often prioritize memorization over deep understanding.
Yeah.
They assess knowledge in isolation rather than in real-world context.
Right.
And they completely miss those social-emotional competencies that we were just talking about.
So if standardized tests are not the answer, what is? How do we measure this more holistic picture of human intelligence?
That's a great question, and it's something that the position paper explores in detail. And they suggest a shift towards what they call competency-based assessment,
Competency-based assessment, okay.
which focuses on evaluating a student's ability to apply their knowledge and skills
Okay.
to real-world challenges.
So instead of filling in bubbles on multiple choice test,
Right.
students might be asked to create a portfolio of their work, conduct a research project, or even solve a problem in their community.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond just measuring what students know
Okay.
and focusing on what they can actually do with that knowledge.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But this kind of shift in assessment would require a pretty massive overhaul of our educational system.
Absolutely.
Right.
And the position paper lays out 3 key levers for change
Ooh, levers for change. I like it.
to make this happen. And they are
Yeah.
community conversations, innovation spaces, and developing what they call a portrait of a learner. Okay, those sound intriguing. So let's dive into those levels for change
Yes.
in our next segment.
I'm ready.
So these levers for change are really all about creating a more holistic and future-proof approach to education.
Okay.
One that really recognizes that essential role of human intelligence in an AI world.
It's like we're building a whole new educational ecosystem, one that's designed to nurture those uniquely human skills that AI just can't replicate.
Exactly. And the position paper really emphasizes that this isn't like a top-down revolution. It's about bringing everyone to the table.
Okay.
Educators, policymakers, parents, students, even industry leaders to have these critical conversations.
So it's not just about the tech experts deciding what the future of learning should look like.
Right.
It's about having those sometimes messy,
Yeah.
but really essential conversations as a community.
Yeah, and the position paper calls these community conversations, and they're all about building a shared understanding of what human intelligence even means in this context.
Yeah.
It's about asking those big, important questions like, what values do we want to instill in our students? What skills will they need to not just survive, but thrive in this world? How do we make sure that everyone has a chance to develop their full potential?
It's almost like we need a new social contract
Yeah.
for education in the age of AI.
Yeah.
One that's co-created by everyone
Right.
who has a stake in the outcome.
Exactly. And these conversations can help us move beyond the hype and the fear
Yeah.
that often surrounds AI and really focus on creating a future where technology serves humanity,
Right.
not the other way.
Not the robot overlords. Okay, so community conversations are about setting the vision,
Yeah.
getting everyone on the same page.
Yes.
What about these innovation spaces? What role do they play?
So think of them as like labs for educational experimentation, where teachers can try out new approaches to teaching and integrating AI tools. And they can really be anything from a dedicated corner of a classroom to like a full-blown makerspace, as long as they provide that safe space to try new things, make mistakes, and learn from each other.
It's like giving teachers the freedom to tinker, to innovate, to figure out what works best for their students in this AI world.
And the position paper stresses the importance of giving teachers the time, the resources, and the support that they need to really make this happen. It also highlights the need for collaboration, not just within a school, but across a whole network of educators.
Strength in numbers.
Yes.
We're all figuring this out together, and by sharing our successes and failures, we can really accelerate that pace of innovation.
Exactly. And that brings us to the third lever for change, developing a portrait of a learner.
Portrait of a learner. Okay.
So think of it as a blueprint that outlines the specific skills and competencies that students need to be successful in this AI world.
So it's not just about those traditional academic subjects.
Yeah.
It's more well-rounded.
Right.
What does it mean to be a capable, adaptable human being?
Exactly. The position paper is very clear that this portrait of a learner should include all those human intelligence skills that we talked about earlier. Social emotional intelligence, adaptability, creativity, critical thinking, ethical reasoning, to name a few.
Okay, so that's a lot. So it's like creating a roadmap for human flourishing in an AI age. What do they suggest should be included in this portrait?
Well, they actually provide a really interesting list of key human skills based on recent research, and it includes things like adaptability, complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, people management, coordinating with others, emotional intelligence, service orientation, negotiation, and cognitive flexibility.
Wow, that's quite a list. It really highlights how the skills needed to thrive in this AI-integrated world. It's not just about the technical stuff.
Right.
It encompasses those essential human qualities
Yeah.
that allow us to connect with others, navigate complexity, and solve problems in those creative and innovative ways.
Exactly. And the position paper emphasizes that this portrait of a learner should be a collaborative effort involving input from educators, parents, students, and the community. It really needs to be tailored to the specific needs and aspirations of each community.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all.
No.
Each community defines what success means for their students,
Yes.
and they build a portrait
Exactly.
that reflects those values and goals.
And then once you have that portrait, it can be used to guide everything.
Okay.
From curriculum development to teaching practices to even how you assess student progress.
It's like having this shared compass. That helps everyone stay oriented toward that same destination, even as the terrain around us is constantly shifting.
That's a great way to put it. And the position paper does acknowledge that implementing these changes is going to be challenging.
Yeah, I bet.
It's going to require a shift in mindsets, a willingness to experiment, and a serious commitment to collaboration.
So we're talking about a pretty fundamental transformation of our education system, not just like tweaking around the edges.
You're right. It is a big undertaking, but the position paper argues that it's absolutely essential. If we want education to prepare students for the future,
Right.
not just for the past. And it's not just about changing what we teach, it's about changing how we teach.
So less lecturing, rote memorization, more hands-on, inquiry-based learning that fosters that critical thinking, creativity, collaboration.
Exactly. It's about creating learning environments that are engaging, relevant, and challenging, where students are active participants in their own learning.
Right, and that assessment should be integrated into the learning process, not just a high-stakes test at the end.
Exactly. It's about providing ongoing feedback to help students identify their strengths, target areas for growth, and develop those all-important self-reflection skills.
So it seems like technology could play a pretty important role in supporting this shift towards a more personalized and student-centered approach to learning. What does the position paper say about AI tools in the classroom?
Well, they do talk about how AI can be used to enhance learning. Like, for example, AI-powered tutoring systems can provide personalized support to students that are struggling. Adaptive learning platforms can adjust individual learning styles. And collaborative tools can allow students to work together on projects from anywhere in the world.
It's like AI can help create these incredibly rich and tailored learning experiences that just weren't possible before.
Right. But the position paper is also careful to emphasize that technology should be used thoughtfully and intentionally, always with the goal of nurturing human intelligence in mind.
Right, because we don't want to create a generation of students who are overly reliant on AI or who lack the critical thinking skills to evaluate information and make their own judgments.
It's about finding that balance between harnessing the power of technology and cultivating those uniquely human qualities that will allow us to thrive in this AI-integrated world.
So it's not about AI versus humans.
Right.
It's about AI and humans working together to create something better than either one could achieve alone.
That's a great way to put it. And the position paper highlights how important it is to remember that local context and community ownership are essential. There's no one-size-fits-all solution for integrating AI into education or for cultivating human intelligence.
So it sounds like this is an ongoing process.
Yeah.
Experimentation, adaptation, and continuous learning, not just for students, but for educators and communities as a whole.
Absolutely. We're all in this together, navigating uncharted territory, but that one thing that will always be in demand is human intelligence. It's our ability to adapt, to innovate, empathize, and create meaning that will set us apart in an AI-driven world.
And those are the qualities that will ultimately shape the future we create, a future that is both technologically advanced and deeply human.
I think that's a great place to pause for a moment and just reflect on what we've discussed so far. What stands out to you as particularly relevant or thought-provoking?
What unique human strengths do you think will be most valuable in the future? And how can we better cultivate those strengths in ourselves and the next generation? We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, it's like we're being challenged to redefine, well, everything. What it means to be intelligent, what it means to be successful, what it means to even be human in this crazy world that's changing so fast.
And that's what I find so exciting about this position paper.
Yeah.
It's not just a set of recommendations, you know? It's like a call to action for all of us to step up and shape the future that we want to see.
We're not just passive bystanders in this.
No?
We have agency. We have choices. We have the power to create a future where human intelligence can flourish right alongside AI.
And it starts those conversations, with those experiments, with those attempts to kind of redefine what education can and should be in this new era.
It's about fostering those essential human skills that we've been talking about this whole time.
The creativity, the critical thinking, the empathy, the adaptability, all those things that allow us to navigate this AI-driven world.
With confidence, with purpose. With purpose, exactly.
Yeah, and it's about recognizing that education, it's not just about prepping for some job. It's about prepping for life, being an engaged citizen, contributing to our communities.
And it's also about remembering that even in this world of algorithms and automation, it's our human connections that matter. It's our shared values, our capacity for compassion. Those things determine the future that we create.
I think that's a powerful message to leave our listeners with.
I agree.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We explored some of the challenges and opportunities of human intelligence. As always, there's no easy roadmap, but this position paper provides a really compelling framework for thinking about these issues and taking action.
Yeah, it reminds us that the future isn't something that just happens to us.
Right.
We create it.
We create it together. And by embracing the potential of both human and artificial intelligence, we can create a future that's both innovative and humane. A future where technology really amplifies our best qualities instead of diminishing them.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive
Into human intelligence in an AI world.
Yes.
We hope this sparked some new ideas.
Yeah.
Maybe even inspired you to take some action.
Absolutely.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those big questions.